Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaivam Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Dhirai Shurmata Swakatha Krishna Punya Shavana Kirtana Hridayantasto Bhadrani Vidunoti Surhit Satam Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavate Naishtike. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 13, Text 24 to 27. Etadakhya me brahmana sunithatmaja cheshchitam shraddhana shraddhanaya bhaktyaya vamparavaravittamaha. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Vidur requested Maitreya, my, my dear Brahman, you are well conversant with all subjects, both past and future. Therefore, I wish to hear from you all the activities of King Ved. I am your faithful devotee. So please explain this. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Vidur accepted Maitreya as his spiritual master. A spirit disciple always inquires from the spiritual master, and the spiritual master answers the question, provided the disciple is very gentle and devoted. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur said that by the mercy of the spiritual master, one is blessed with the mercy of the Supreme Lord. The spiritual master is not inclined to disclose all the secrets of transcendental science unless the disciple is very submissive and devoted. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, the process of receiving knowledge from the spiritual master entails submission, inquiry, and service. Text 25. Maitreya Uvacha Angoshvamegham Rajar Shirajrahara Mahakratum Najagmur Devatastasminnahuta Brahmavadibihi. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Maitreya replied, my dear Vidur, once the great king Anga arranged to perform the great sacrifice known as Ashwamedha. All the expert Brahmanas present knew how to invite the demigods, but in spite of their efforts, no demigods participated or appeared in the sacrifice. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. A Vedic sacrifice is not an ordinary performance. The demigods used to participate in such sacrifices, and the animals sacrificed in such performances were reincarnated with a new life. In this age of Kali, there are no powerful Brahmanas who can invite the demigods or give renewed life to the animals. Formerly, the Brahmanas, well conversant in Vedic mantras, could show the potency of the mantras. But in this age, because there are no such Brahmanas, all such sacrifices are forbidden. Sacrifice in which horses were offered was called Ashwamedha. Sometimes cows were sacrificed, ga, ga, gavalambha, not for eating purposes, but to give them new life in order to show the potency of the mantra. In this age, therefore, the only principle, yajna, is Sankirtan yajna, or the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, 24 hours a day. 26. Text 20. Tam uchur vishmitastatra yagnamanam athar vijit Havisham huyamanani nate grunyanti devataha. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. The priests engaged in the sacrifice, then informed King Anga, O king, we are properly offering the clarified butter in the sacrifice, but despite all our efforts, the demigods do not accept it. Text 27. Rajan havinshya dustani Shraddhaya saditani te chandamsya shiyatatuyamani yojitani drutapratehi. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O king, we know that the paraphernalia to perform the sacrifice is well collected by you with great faith and care and is not polluted. Our chanting of the Vedic hymns is not deficient in any way. For all the Brahmanas and priests present here are expert and are executing the performances properly. Purport. It is the practice of the Brahmanas, conversant with the science to pronounce a Vedic mantra in a right accent. The combination of the mantra and the Sanskrit words must be chanted with the right pronunciation. Otherwise, it will not be successful. In this age, the Brahmanas are neither well versed in the Sanskrit language nor very pure in a practical life. But by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, one can attain the highest benefit of sacrificial performances. Even if the Hare Krishna mantra is not chanted properly, it still has so much potency that the chanter gains effect. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shanyavadi Pashata Deshitarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you for Lasambhava Vaishnavas for giving me this opportunity to speak Srimad Bhagavatam verses for my own purification. I will summarize today's verses from the summary given purports by Srila Prabhupada and senior acharyas. Please forgive if I add my own meaning or interpretation to this. So, there are a few wonderful points made in these 4 verses, and backstory is that Vidur is Maitreya Rishi is explaining the descendants of Dhruva Maharaj to Vidurji, and in that the story of Vain comes, King Vain, and with that Vidurji is inquiring from Maitreya Rishi humbly about clarification of his question. So here the first important point is like how should we approach the spiritual master? So here Vidurji give a very good example of how disciples should approach spiritual master. The disciple should be very gentle and very devoted. And even in Bhagavad Gita, in the very beginning, Arjun also gives us very good example, similar way how Vidurji given us. Arjun also tell Krishna that, I am surrendering to you. Please, with all devotion, and please guide me. So, with these examples, we should understand how we should approach our spiritual master. Because unless a disciple is submissive and devoted, the spiritual master may not reveal the secrets of transcendental science. And even if spiritual master reveals it, a disciple may not even able to grasp it. So it's not just that for spiritual master, but for us, our ability to grasp that transcendental science, we have to be very humble. And in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that 4.34 that tat vidhin pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te gnanam gnaninis tattva darshina. So the path of spiritual realization is very difficult. The Lord therefore advises us to approach a bona fide spiritual master in the line of disciplic succession from the Lord himself. No one can be a bona fide spiritual master without following this principle of disciplic succession. So here also very good example. Maitreya Rishi as we know from the previous cantos, that when Lord, before departing this world, he was giving the knowledge to Uddhavji, and Maitreya Rishi was hearing this directly from the mouth of the Lord. And Lord has asked him, Maitreya Rishi, to give this knowledge to Vidur, who was that time doing the pilgrimages. So now, in the one sense, we can see, like, Maitreya Rishi was like directly received this knowledge. And that's what happens in a reciprocal succession, where spiritual master receives knowledge from his spiritual master, and from his spiritual master receives from his spiritual master, which finally connects with the message of Lord Krishna. So that's why disciplic succession here is very important word, that when we connect with the spiritual master, we make sure we connect to the disciplic succession. So the Lord is the original supreme, so spiritual master. And then the person is the disciplic succession can convey the message of the Lord as it is to be his disciple. No one can simply spiritually realized by manufacturing his own process, because in today's world, that is a fashion where foolish pretenders are very good at orating the message, but they don't understand or have a grasp of the message. They don't have a realization because they are not connected with the disciplic succession and to the Lord. So, mental speculation or dry arguments cannot help lead one to the right path. And also, some people may think that by independent study of the books or knowledge, one can progress in spiritual life, but that is also not possible, because to understand, so these books anybody can read, but to understand or have a realizations, you need to have a connection with the spiritual master. One has to approach a bona fide spiritual master to receive the knowledge. So, a spiritual master also should be expected, should be accepted in a full surrender. One should serve the spiritual master like a menial servant without false prestige, because satisfaction of the self-realized spiritual master is the secret of advancement in spiritual life. Inquiries and submission constitute the proper combination for the spiritual understanding. Unless there is a submission and service, inquiries from the learned spiritual master will not be effective. Very important. So that's why even spiritual master parts the message. If we are not submissive, we will not be able to, the message may not be effective. One must be able to pass the test of spiritual master. And when spiritual master sees that there is a genuine desire of the disciple, then he automatically blesses the disciple with a genuine spiritual understanding. Because in this world, so both blind following and absurd inquiries are condemned. So not only one should hear submissively from spiritual master, but one also must get a clear understanding from him in submission and service and inquiries. So a bona fide spiritual master is by nature is very kind toward the disciple. Therefore, when the student is submissive and is always ready to render service, the reciprocation of knowledge and inquiries becomes perfect. So that was the first point. Second point here made is about the fire sacrifice. So, you know, in the Satya Yuga, that was a prescribed method. Every yuga has a prescribed method of performing the devotional service, and in that yuga, it was fire sacrifice, where you know, the Vedic hymns, and in fire sacrifice, very important is mantras chanted with the very precise pronunciation. So here, two combinations are mentioned. One is mantra and the Sanskrit words. So all of them has to be spoken by learned brahmanas in a very precise manner. Otherwise, it will result in a different results than expected. A very good example is in the future cantos will hear the story about Vritrasura. So backstory is Vritrasura's father. He was Twasta Rishi, where his another son Vishwarupa was killed by Indra, and then so Twasta Rishi started a fire sacrifice to kill Indra, and if the problem is if mantras are chanted irregularly, they yield an opposite result. So this happened when Twasta Rishi was performing this yajna, and while performing the sacrifice to kill Indra, Twasta chanted the mantra to increase Indra's enemy. That was his purpose. But instead of that, he chanted the mantra wrong. And scripture says that he made mistake on just one uh, dot in one syllable. That's the mistake he made in chanting that mantra. And instead of enemy of Indra, or a person who will kill Indra, uh, he got a son who will be get killed by Indra, and for that was Vritrasura, the demon Vritrasura. So even a small dot or pronunciation made this reverse effect. Imagine when we are chanting the whole shlokas, if somebody is not even pronouncing some of them, what effect they will have. So in the year of Kali Yuga, we should not even attempt to you know do just solely that fire sacrifice. We should not bank on the fire sacrifices, but that doesn't mean we should not do it. But that should not be the purpose. So there are 5 things needed in a purified state for the successful fire sacrifice. First is sacrificial arena. Second is fire. The third is offering or ingredients: grain, clarified butter. And the fourth thing is um, the person who is offering the sacrifice. And the final is the result and the performance. So nowadays, even the land and at altar is also not very pious and clean. So that itself is a problem. Second is, in the previous yugas, the fire, it was not invoked. It was not invoked by the matchboxes and things like that. When brahmanas would chant the mantras, the fire would appear in the fire sacrifices arena. And the third thing is the ingredients. That is the biggest problem in Kali Yuga. Everything is polluted. So to expect now we have seen that the animal fat and other bad ingredients are mixed in the different products. Those things demons used to use to destroy the fire sacrifice of the rishis in the previous yugas. So imagine we are happily using those ingredients to do the fire sacrifices. So what would be the state of the fire sacrifice, right? So all in all, those are the things. There is a lot of things. So what is the solution, right? So in this yuga, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that the best thing to do is performance of the Harinam Yajna, which is inaugurated by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But that is the best way to do, because to chant Hare Krishna, to chant mantra, to chant the name of the Lord or Harinam, you don't need to be purified. You don't need to be clean, right? Any state, any condition, you can start chanting the mantra. And also, here in one of the verses, one of the purports, Srila Prabhupada mentioned that the chanting in this age, the only principal yajna is Sankirtan yajna, or chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. But this last word is very important, 24 hours a day. So Srila Prabhupada is instructing us not to restrict ourselves just for 16 rounds or 2 hours of rivers. No, every time, every second, every moment, we should try to chant our Hare Krishna mantra, because we don't know when we're going to die. So if we restrict ourselves to only just 1 or 2 hours or 3 hours, we may not even get full benefit of it. So that's why it's very important. Even when Arjuna was instructed by Krishna that killing, right, in the war is the most gruesome activity, right? Because you're shooting the arrows and your arrows are being shot at you. So you have to save yourself and you have to kill. And that's like a most indulging activity. But still Krishna said to Arjuna that make sure you remember me while you're doing all those things. So our activities are not that requires that kind of attention, right? So, or doesn't have that kind of consequences as well. So we should try our best to chant the mantra 24/7 in our mind. So make sure that we get the full benefit. So these are the few points in these verses I would like to conclude. Please forgive if I made any mistakes.